Welcome back to our series where we're creating a live streaming program with the C programming language. And we are back to working with FFmpeg and the execute.h file. So let's jump ahead and I'll show you what I've changed. We'll take a look at the execute.h file. And the first thing, I did some functionality changes. So I did need the string.h include file. I set these two pound defines, the max string and the pipe file as macros. And then I started moving all of the variables inside the function instead of making them global, which is why I pound defined some things out here. So I added some options here. The first one is a numerical option, which you can see here. We'll get to that in a moment. So it's a integer. Then I have a char array, which is asking for which video for a Linux device, and that's the device path. And then it's asking for an input file, and that can be either used as part of this video or with the overlay. And that'll be functionality that we'll add in a future video, but we're still setting up the framework, trying to keep as best we can with the best programming practices. So here's where we put that max string, and this is so that we can change these values later on without having a seg fault or an overflow or anything like that. So we can use these values over again. And again, these are going to be default values, which I am going to change just because it's a default value. I'm going to go with dev default or dev/default. And we are going to go through, and first things first is with the video for Linux device. If it's null or if it's not null, it will just copy the device into the input device. So here is if the options are either 2 or 4, it's going to be for V4L2. 2 is just the regular V4L2, and 4 is if it has an overlay. That is what we did earlier. And then I added in if it was to be an X11, again with 3 or 5. And I haven't changed the string yet. This is still the same. I just copied this string to here, and the same thing for the video option here. Those are going to be a future video. Again, just adding functionality into this slowly. So then we can go ahead and still just printing out this string. The reason that we aren't using the exec command because we're still playing around making sure this is all working correctly. Another thing I added was I did add a correction, and I'll show you that right now. I did add this option, the .f-flv. I did not realize that we were not using it. So that is the execute.h. Now we'll check the test exec.c. What we've done here is we've added the 4 here, and let me just go ahead and change this to webcam main, which is what the default was before. And we have this as null. We're not sending anything to here yet. And eventually I'll put parameters here. So if it runs as a standalone program while we're doing the testing, we can just feed in the options through argv and argc, but not doing that yet. 4 is using the overlay, so we're not doing overlays. We'll say 2, and I'll add edge cases where you say 4, but you put null, and it's just going to default to 2. So if you don't include an overlay, but you want to use the overlay option, it will just default to without an overlay. So let's go ahead and make this. And we're getting this error because we are not using this char input file or this input file array just yet. And we go ahead and see if it still works. So before it had video 1, now it has webcam. So this one so far is good. I just put good question mark. And we'll add the next video, we'll work on adding the X11 functionality. So that's just a quick update video of where we stand, how we're making this module a little tighter, more condensed, trying to keep with the best practices, and we will keep moving on. Like I said, the next video will be adding the X11 and or the video option. If you don't know where we're coming from, on your screen right now will be the playlist, so you can click on that and see what we've been up to. Otherwise, it's the video that YouTube thinks you should be watching next. Thank you for watching this video, and you have a great day.